Are we? Yeah. Hello everyone. This is going to be a very fun night. I have the feeling. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Lindsey.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux. We are live at the shop, and this is probably going to be one of the more unique shows we've ever done. We're going to cover a little bit of news, but the big thing we're doing is we have. I can use y'all's names, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. I was just making sure. I should have asked that off the air.
The secret. The double secret.
Don't tell anybody.
Go ahead.
The band Resurrection Mary. I'll let y'all introduce yourselves. I know who you are, but the people at home don't.
I'm Heather.
I'm Travis.
And I guess the big announcement that I've been like teasing everybody with, of course, they probably figured it out by now, but we have a band. We have a big announcement.
Y'all are going to be on tour. No, I'm sorry.
Let's go.
What was that?
We're not going.
No, we're not going. No,
I'm awake now. Anyway, we're not going on tour. Y'all are actually going to be like doing some music for us, and I don't know what, but I think maybe a theme song is in order. And y'all are going to be kind of like the official Untitled Nerd Network band. That'll be like.
Is it Paul Schaefer?
Oh yeah, from Letterman.
So we're going to be your Paul Schaefer.
Yes, exactly. I was trying to come up with that, but I didn't have any names.
All I could see was the bald guy with the glasses. I don't know.
I have hair. So I guess people want to know why you guys, and I want to first by getting some background on the two of you, like what you do. Like y'all don't do just Resurrection Mary. Y'all are musical talents. I've seen you perform. I wouldn't have asked you on here if I didn't know what you could do, and y'all do some great stuff.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves, background, that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, we met like 6 years ago. I was in a band that broke up, and so I went on Facebook, of all places, and just started friending every Chattanooga musician I could find, and he just happened to be one of them. And so we finally had an opportunity to get together and meet and just kind of see if we were going to be able to work together, and we've been together pretty much every day since that moment. We got married like 9 months later.
Cool. Okay. Is that your version of the events?
Yeah.
A man of few words.
Okay.
Not really. He'll talk you to death.
Awesome.
So you're both Chattanooga natives?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, both from here. He's probably the biggest nerd I know. Yeah.
I'm not actually from Chattanooga. I was raised in this area, but I was adopted, and my birth family was from Seattle, and we were on a camping trip out in the Pacific Northwest, and my family was killed by a marauding band of Sasquatches.
Okay.
And they caught him and took him in for a lineup, but I was too young and traumatized to pick the guy out of the lineup, so I got brought to Tennessee as a child. And,
We're going to go with that as canon.
Oh, yeah.
So you have, I'm assuming, maybe grunge in your DNA.
Of course.
Okay.
All kinds of it.
Metal more than grunge.
Okay.
On a serious note, I've been a Metallica fan since I was 15, and I mean my son's named James after James Hetfield. But certainly growing up in the '90s, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, of course, Pearl Jam. They were definitely in heavy rotation in my vehicle and my friends' vehicles when we were riding around being dumbass kids. So.
And I'm sure that probably influenced your music.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, God, James Hetfield. I got my first guitar at 17, and the first song I ever learned how to play all the way through was Enter Sandman, because that's what was, out and popular at the time. So even though I don't have any metal bands anymore, like the basic techniques, the foundation upon which everything I do is built on guitar and the bass, come from growing up playing thrash metal. So.
And I'm completely from the opposite end of the spectrum. I grew up listening to Don Williams and Pink Floyd and the Grateful Dead and Neil Young and things like that. So it makes for a pretty interesting mesh. There's just enough overlap between what he likes and what I like to make it really interesting.
So you guys, are y'all familiar with Tim Wilson, the comedian?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The acid country thing,
Yes.
basically, is what we're talking here.
A lot of that, yes, maybe a little.
Do what?
Like stoner metal somewhere in
Stoner metal.
Stoner rock is pretty accurate. I think that's a fair description.
No, we're not stoner rock.
So I do want to say, like, up front, that we are going to have some music. So that's actually going to be the first time we've ever hosted any kind of music on the channel, which is going to be cool. It's not anything that's going to get us hit with like a copyright claim or anything, is it?
No.
Okay,
Shouldn't.
I'm just wanting to make sure, because we like our 3 pennies per video of ad revenue.
Right on.
So
we'll play songs that we wrote.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side.
Cool. Are you going to dance for us, Lindsey?
I shoulder dance really well.
I chair dance pretty awesome.
I don't.
As long as I don't.
Yeah,
I can
he
only
don't
do,
dance.
Like, either the top half or the bottom half. I can't dance both of them. At
You
the
can't
same
coordinate
time.
them.
Not at the same time.
No.
It's
not
got to be
without,
one
like,
or the other.
A teacher and it being choreographed and a lot of room for forgiveness in there. So yeah, I'll shoulder dance for you.
Interpretive dance. That's what I'm talking about.
So you guys aren't just musicians. We got some nerd here,
Oh.
right? And that helps.
Non-nerd.
That certainly helps, because you don't want, like, being Untitled Nerd Network and we broadcast from a comic book store. You don't want a band to come in and be like, hey, you guys watch the Marvel movies, and they're like,
What are you talking
Marvel
about?
movies.
What are
we
talking
can't
about?
have that. So like, I believe that was actually one of the first things I asked you.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like, hey, you guys have, like, any kind of nerd background? Like, maybe have you seen a poster of Captain America on a wall or something?
Yes,
You know,
definitely.
Did you not hear them when they came in? She walked in and she says, "I want everything."
I want one of everything in
Yeah.
the room.
Have you guys not
So
been
I
here
think
before?
we've got a solid
We have not actually been in. I didn't even know it was here. That's really sad. I never come to this side of the river. We live on the south side of the river, so we never.
Okay.
We never come up this way.
I literally haven't been in a comic shop in
a long time.
22, 23 years.
bringing
I
you
miss
back
it.
in.
God,
Yes.
I
Back into the
back
fold.
Into the fold.
I have to say,
One of us.
I gotta say, like, what is your what does your interest span between the two of you? Like, as far as
Everything.
like say they just plop you down in a comic book store right now, what's the first place you go to?
I want to read some Wonder Woman. I love Wonder Woman. She's my hero. I think she's amazing. And I love that when they did the movie, when it came out with Gal Gadot, that they set it in the right time period for her. And when she broke bad, buddy, she broke bad. She is my favorite. I love her. The world needs more strong women.
What about Travis?
I never was directly into comics myself. Of course, they're cultural touchstones. Everybody's aware of them to some degree, and I've seen all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. My comic reading was really reading what my friends had back in high school. Ghost Rider, Thor, Venom. I remember when Venom first got his own series.
Yeah.
A number of things like that. But my childhood nerdiness was more Star Wars and like tabletop RPGs. Yeah, like oh man, I used to play.
He's in love.
God, I used to play Rifts back in high school. We played Robotech. God, what else did we play? Me and another friend used to play.
Didn't you play like Masquerade? Or?
Oh yeah, I got into live action Masquerade. Matter of fact, right down the road at the YMCA on Hickson Pike here, we used to do live action Masquerade again, like 20 years ago, 22 years ago. What else? What was that kind of horror themed Dungeons and Dragons offshoot? Ravenloft. I used to play Ravenloft with a friend. And back in high school, we used to play Star Wars, the old D6 system Star Wars, not the Wizards of the Coast D20 system that's out now, but
Classic.
West End Games, I think, was the old system. Yeah, we used to play that, and one of my old friends from high school, we're still friends. He's still got all his old books. As a matter of fact, he scours eBay and used bookstores and gets new to him books as he can. But I mean, even as recently as a couple of years ago, we were playing tabletop Star Wars. You know, had regular weekly game nights.
Holy crap! Okay, so this has worked out amazingly, because see, you're speaking Lindsey's language. And,
I saw it light up when I mentioned tabletop
I
RPG.
was waiting for the pause to stop about the comic books so I could be like, well, it's comics and games. So now we know he likes tabletop RPGs. What about you, madam? Any geeky game. It doesn't have to be. It could be video.
I
or
used to
whatever.
play D&D a long time ago, and my character got killed off like repeatedly forever and ever and ever, and so I kind of got a little discouraged. But I remember my dad had, the old Dungeons and Dragons where they had the tower and that's the Dungeons and Dragons that I grew up with. But you don't see it like that anymore. I don't even know if they're still in existence anywhere.
Oh, yeah. You can. There's all kinds of online crafters and makers that make.
Still have the.
Yeah.
So
Lord, you can drop so much money into building or buying huge dungeons, and once we buy a house, that's like a goal. I found
next.
Yeah, actually, I found this really cool YouTuber. It's DM's Craft, and he shows you how to make all these big dungeon pieces with like cardboard and stuff, and they look really nice and it's really cheap. And I'm like, oh, the plans.
Oh yeah. Now
but when
you
you're
need
playing in a
room.
store, obviously you don't want to bring all the things with you unless you're like
bring in your cases,
warhammering it up, and
Now,
then you need
here's-
the whole thing.
Here's some deep gamer nerd stuff for you. If y'all don't mind my asking, how old are y'all?
33.
34.
Probably too young to remember it. Eamon Games on the old Apple IIe. It was ancient. We're talking.
Are you talking about the text-based
Yes.
stuff?
Yes.
I'm familiar because they have like browser-based, basically the same stuff, but you can play it inside of the internet browser
And
now.
I'm so disappointed. I haven't really found any port for it that's really been satisfactory. I would so help me God, I would consider buying an Apple IIe if I could find the discs for the games. It really, it was simple. Of course, there wasn't much in the way of story, but it was just cool, and what it was. And there was we used to play in school in a computer class in Mr. Drake's room, and there was this one adventure called Magic Kingdom. You could play any of them as many times as you wanted to, except for the first one. Beginner's Cave was one time only. You played through, got a few little gold, little armor, a couple odds and ends. But Magic Kingdom, one of the characters you met had an enchanted cup of tea, and every time you drank it, all of your attributes went up by 1. And I went through that game like 300 times. This is no joke, man. I actually did it twice. I had one character called Metallica fan that I am. He was the Harvester of Sorrow, and I went through probably about 220, 230 times with him. And my strength and all you had was strength, dexterity, and charisma, but they were all so high, like nobody could touch me. Everybody I swatted at died, and I'd enter a new room in the dungeon or whatever and smile, and like the monsters would smile back at me because my charisma was so high, And then the disc that had that character got lost, and so I created another one called Billy Joe Jim Bob, and I think I went through Magic Kingdom like 300 times with him. And there was no adventure that I could not just walk through, with the exception of one adventure in Orc's Lair. And there was a character they couldn't call it this because of copyright, but you didn't have to read far between the lines. He was the Juggernaut, and that was the one character that I couldn't just demolish. Me and him, it was like the Hulk and the Juggernaut just standing there swapping licks, and we were both hard to hit, and when we were hit, we were both really tough. And the fights just took forever, and I never did beat him. Like I would always have to retreat, but that's actually part of why I'd like to get it, just so I could avenge myself, from 1992 and 1993. But that was some pretty hardcore nerd stuff back then. There was even a text-based Star Trek simulator.
Wow.
Like you've been holding this grudge for like 25 years. You're just aching to get it out.
I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
I'm Scottish.
We never let go.
What happened?
Uh-oh.
That was me. It's looking for photos.
Oh, no, hold on. Hold
So
this.
we're still going. I guess then.
Yeah, we are.
Oh yeah, because trying to pull up my phone when you don't want it to.
Do we have anybody in the chat? Hey, chat people.
How's it going?
Hey, somebody say something.
Ah.
No, that was me
Oh.
Whoops.
greeting people that might show up.
Okay, well, in true Untitled Nerd Network fashion, things can't go 100% good. We've always got to start at least 3
always
minutes
something.
late, and we always have to have at least one major technical difficulty. So
Well,
Major, I would say hiccup. We always have to have one hiccup.
some kind of
At
hiccup.
least
everybody
one.
knows Murphy's Law, of course. Anything
Yes.
that can go wrong will go wrong. Do you know Schwartz's Law?
No.
Murphy was an optimist.
All right.
Oh,
Cartoons on.
oh,
Smiley face.
yeah, Cartoon, one of our regulars. We have probably about a half dozen regulars who pop in with our video game streams and our UNN lives on Thursday nights and stuff like that. So I do. Do y'all have to like get set up for like music or anything?
No, he's
Set up as we need to be.
All right.
he's pretty done.
Okay, because I was actually
roll your
gonna.
performance, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll figure this out on the air as we're going. We may do a song or two and then go back into some discussion and then maybe play out with another song. Okay, you got a guitar too, don't you?
She does, but she's being shy today.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of.
Oh, we can scooch.
It's big.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna. This is gonna be all stage for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
We're actually gonna move off and let y'all play.
Oh well.
Well, you might want to step over there and take a minute and tune up.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess we're.
Ronald says hello.
Who did?
Thompson, Ronald.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's in the other room.
Yep, we have gotten a handful of people, like I said, who show up all the time. And that's awesome. I like having people who every time they see a song, they're like, hey. So, you've been playing for a while.
Hand that over to her, please. God, 25, coming on 26 years.
Dang. And is the guitar the only thing you play?
Guitar and bass are the only things I play with any real proficiency. I can play a little mandolin and plink around on some keyboards. Anything with frets and strings I can plink around on and make some noise on. But
Okay. What about you?
I didn't pick up a guitar until I was 36, so I've been playing for about 6 years, and I play the guitar, this much mandolin. I grew up playing the piano and the trumpet. Can't play either one of those with any proficiency these days. So this is my main instrument.
Okay.
Taylor Wilson's also here.
Hello, Taylor.
Greetings. So, what else do we want to talk about? See,
Taylor
I mean,
has a
that-
question.
Huh? What do we have?
Yes.
Have you been featured on albums or recorded any songs that went somewhat viral?
Yeah, do you have any? I don't know if we can hear
I've
Amber or not.
I've actually got a couple of stories.
Okay.
Our band that we're in, the Scarlet Love Conspiracy, we're working on an album of originals, so there's that. That's almost done. I'm in another band called Mark Porkchop Holder and MPH, and we actually released an album in February on Alive Natural Sound Records. It's for sale on 3 continents, and Amazon and Slacker and all that. Got another album coming out in November. As far as anything viral, go to Imager. No, the guy deleted it. Damn LOL. I know it's there. And search nicest stranger ever. Sometimes in the evenings when I'm just sitting there bored, because I'm a night owl. I'm typically up after everybody's asleep, so I'll go to Omegle and just chat with random strangers, you know. And so I ended up having a conversation with this 16-year-old kid in Romania, and he was interested in a girl, and he didn't know how to approach her, and I gave him some advice on, you know, what to say to her. I said, except in Romanian, you know, whatever the translation is. And we were laughing and cutting up, and I said, now when you talk to her and she likes it, show her this and tell her you're friends with the band, and then you'll look cool. And I sent him the link to a YouTube video from the first single from our first album, a song called My Black Name. And he's like, are you rickrolling me? I said, no, man, I'm not rickrolling you. And so he checked it out and he liked the song, and we swapped contact info. I said, because I want to know how it worked out with the girl, you know, email me, let me know. And so, I don't know, man, 3 or 4 days later, we started getting messages to our band page. People saying, yeah, man, I saw you on Imager. That's great. And, you know, I tracked you down because I saw such and such. And I'm reading these messages, and I'm like, we don't have an Imager account. You know, what the hell's going on? And I don't know, we got about a half a dozen of them. And I finally asked somebody, you know, instead of playing it off and being cool, I was like, man, what are you talking about? I was like, what are you talking about? And he sent me the link to the Imager thing, and the kid had screen capped the entire conversation.
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at this.
And posted it on Imager. That's actually a screen grab from Imager. And he left it up there for...
I'm going to put this on our Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah, please do.
Absolutely.
But it was the top trending viral image for like 3 or 4 days on Imager. Like everything under it would rotate in and out, but this thing was at the top for days, and it generated so much traffic to our friggin' YouTube video that I had linked that the president of the record label called my lead singer and guitar player and asked if we had hired one of these hackers to artificially inflate the numbers. Because
it's got to be that's like the equivalent of somebody in like an online video game accusing you of cheating and you're not.
Yeah.
You know.
So I mean, seriously.
10,000 views in a matter of days.
Oh yeah, and
it's just ridiculous.
Just in like 5 or 6 days, we went from like 100 and something views to 5,000-6,000. It's up over 11,000 now.
Yeah.
We still get messages periodically. Both at the YouTube video and at our Facebook page, people saying that they found this image floating around the internet.
Sweet.
So now it's like a viral landmine floating around out there. And like I say, he took it down after 4 days. Turns out he did not, in fact, get the girl. And I think that's why he took it down, because you know it was two things. It was people talking about the music, and did he get the girl? So you know when that went south, I guess he took it down because of that. But again, by that point, it had already. Word had gotten out, so it's still floating around on other image hosting sites.
Yeah.
So that's
it kind of highlighted his failure. Kind of feel bad for the guy.
The kid actually didn't fail. I mean, it just didn't work out.
True.
He didn't fall flat on his face. It was just the situation ended up not being right.
Okay.
And one other, it's not music related, but my one other brush with viral fame is I'm kind of famous on Reddit. Under the Just Neckbeard Things subreddit. There's a choose your own adventure neckbeard thing on there, and if you pick the wrong choice, there's a picture of me holding 244 special revolvers. They call me Two Shots, and I kill your character.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, well I didn't either until somebody found it and sent me a link. It's like, hey dude, you're all over Reddit,
And they're also chaotic evil.
Oh yeah, and if you Google neckbeard alignment chart, I'm chaotic evil. It's me standing there holding 244 special snub-nosed revolvers.
I can't Google all this while I'm doing things, so.
I gotta ask, how do I grow a beard like yours?
Lots of scotch. Like fighting badgers helps. Yeah. Barehanded. Snow baths. It's things
Maybe
like that.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. Bear wrestling, definitely. Things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been a lumberjack at some point?
No, but I did work. Matter of fact, that's where this shirt came from, at a place that made sawmills, the things that turn trees into lumber. So I sort of was connected to the lumber industry.
Close enough.
All right. Cartoon says that he found his comment on YouTube too. It says Argonaut 7 months ago got sent an image of an Omegle chat, and now I'm here, and damn, this is actually a really good song.
Yep, that's him.
I'm working on posting the link to it. I don't know why it's taking forever. I don't know.
Okay.
But maybe it'll get.
Oh, I did. What was it, yesterday? Mm-hmm. Made Lindsey editor on the page. Wow. It had been a long time coming. I don't know why I didn't think about doing it. So, all right, y'all ready to go? Okay, let me get the microphone set up. We're gonna kind of change the. We'll probably do 1 or 2 songs, and then we'll come back to discussion. Are y'all going to sit over there? Or y'all
I think we're going
to
sit over here.
Oh, okay. Why in the world did I move that then?
I guess if they're going to
This is
move,
like-
go ahead and sit there. So you're
Logic
not,
is
Well, then you park here.
art.
no, because I don't want to be impaled by your guitar.
Oh, so actually, I got a new comic book today about you.
About me?
Yeah, pretty sure it has to be about you. After that description. Chaotic bear wrestling.
Oh my God!
That's you, right?
Oh, that's totally you.
Show it to the camera.
Shirtless bear fighter.
Yes.
Issue 4 of Shirtless Bear Fighter.
You know what?
This is
Before we start the song,
Yeah.
there's actually another nerdy if we're presenting our nerd credentials, I might as well go ahead and throw this one out.
Okay.
A Song of Ice and Fire author / Game of Thrones creator George R.R. Martin.
Mm-hmm. We are familiar. Yes.
He thinks that I'm an interesting character, but he does not know that I really exist.
Really?
That's a true statement.
It's absolutely 100% true.
Wow.
So Travis has a good friend, Sherry Priest, who is an international best-selling author. She's amazing. She writes steampunk sci-fi, horror, Cthulhu mythos kind of stuff. And she got to writing with George?
Well, I pestered her. God, I've known Sherry for close to 25 years now. And once she started writing and started publishing books, I pestered her and I rode her ass, no joke, for 10 years to make me a villain in one of her books. Because let's be honest, I used to wear black all the time, 6'2", pierced all to hell, 450 pounds. I look like a thug, and I was like, I'd be a great villain. You got to make me a villain in one of your books. Kill me, just put me, make me a throwaway character. And she wouldn't do it because she liked me too much. You're too sweet. I can't make you a bad guy. So at her husband's suggestion, he's also a friend of mine, she changed it around and made me a hero and wrote about a fictional version. My name's Travis Kilgore. She wrote about a fictional version named Kilgore Jones, who goes around killing vampires and werewolves and shit like that.
That's a pretty BA
She looked like you.
Oh yeah,
okay,
totally. And I mean, they even incorporated the car I used to drive into the character and all this and that. But she published one story and it was called The Heavy, and it's been published in a number of things. You can find it. If anybody's curious, you can go to Amazon and look up a short story compilation called Beware the Night, W-E-R-E. It's different werewolf fiction, or were-creature, not just werewolf, because the creature I fought in the first book was a were-boar. So the story got picked up and put in this short story anthology. So great, she wrote a story about me, it got published, people liked it, great, I was happy. And that's where it sat for, I don't know, the better part of 10 years. So at some point in the intervening years, as Heather pointed out, she became a friend and collaborator of George R.R. Martin, working with him in his Wild Cards universe. She's written some stories and collaborated with him for that. Says he's a great guy, loves him to death. So a couple of years ago, he hit her up to contribute another short story to an anthology he was editing. And a lot of times when they approach an author, they'll give them a set of criteria. Well, we want this, that, and blah, blah, blah. So he hits her up, and of course she's interested. She goes, what do you want? He goes, I just want a story about a roguish character. That's it? That's it. Good rogue, bad rogue, just somebody who is a rogue in some way. So she thought, The Heavy, time to break him out again. So this time she wrote a story called Heavy Metal, in which my fictional avatar travels to Copper Basin, Tennessee, and fights an evil spirit that lives in the old copper mines and is killing people.
Crap.
Oh, and it's cool. This is not too spoilery if anybody wants to read it. It's in a short story compilation called Rogues, and it's edited by George R.R. Martin. You can find it on Amazon or anywhere else. But he finally meets this thing face to face, and the creature's trying to lure him into his element for the fight, and he, of course, is trying to lure the creature. My character is trying to lure the creature to his element, so he's got an advantage. And the creature says something to taunt him, and my character looks at him and goes, I'll slap the shit out of bigger things, and I'll slap the shit out of you. Which I read that and I just busted out laughing. But anyway, she wrote the story and sent it to George R.R. Martin, and he wrote her back and said he loved the story and specifically mentioned that he really liked the character. Thought it was an interesting character. He has no idea that it's based on a living, breathing human being.
Person.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
that actually may be the nerdiest thing that I've ever done.
Pretty cool.
So, I could have you on for like 2 hours just telling stories. just for the record. All right, tell us what y'all have up first.
You want to play Stone?
Sure.
Is that 1 or 2 for me? Not capo? It's 2, right?
No, you don't capo.
I can never remember which one's what.
So, this song is called Stone. No D on the end, just Stone.
Okay.
And it's the first song we ever wrote together. We hadn't been together as a couple.
Just a few months, maybe.
Yeah, a couple, 3
Not
months.
long.
And I showed up over at her house one day, and all she had was a chorus. She had the vocal melody and the first part of the chorus that you'll hear. And I picked up the guitar and came up with the music for that, and the rest of it. Songwriting is often not easy for us. It takes weeks and months to hammer things out because of our differing interests. But this one, it just bam, just there it was.
It fell right into place.
So, Stone, the first song we ever wrote.
Your heart is harder than diamond, and I've been bent to your will. Not one but chiseled from grinding, too scared or too cold to feel. I gave my heart to your weeping, too naive, too warm to feel. You took it all and kept taking. There's nothing left but my tears, and I am breaking down. Yes, I am breaking down. How the hell did I get here? You are stone, 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 and I am crushed by the weight of you. Stone, stone, stone. You are stone, stone. No pressure for the crack, no God, no giving back, no place for love to take hold. And I am breaking down, yes I am breaking down, and I am leaving here. Stone, 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 and I am crushed by the weight of you. Stone, stone, stone. You are stone, 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 and I am crushed by the weight of you. Stone, stone, stone. You are stone, stone. You are stone, stone. Yay, thank you.
We can do one more, and then we'll go back to our little discussion.
Sure.
We won't.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Girl?
Huh?
Hill Country Girl? Or what am I for? Pick one.
Do Hill Country.
Okay.
Oh, just for the record, we'll do this one. We'll do some more discussion. We'll close out, and then I'll let y'all play us out.
Sure.
Right on. We'll do it.
I don't remember where this one falls in the order of songs we wrote. It's an
I
early
think
song.
it's like the second one.
Maybe the
Right
second.
behind Stone.
The first night we got together in person, like she said earlier, we were Facebook friends first and struck up a chat over The Walking Dead. Discovered a shared interest in music, and the first night we got together in person, we got together with our guitars and hung out and played for 3-4 hours, talked, shot the bull. But she showed me a notebook full of lyrics that she had written, that didn't have any music. And I liked everything I saw, but this one particularly, you know, stuck out for me, and I said, man, I really like this. If you don't mind, I'd like to set this to music one day, maybe. And she goes, yeah, that'd be cool. So we ended up becoming a couple and everything, and I eventually did set it to music. And what drew me to the song, even just reading the lyrics, it was a straight up, without music, this was a stone cold country song. And just, you know, people think of me as a thrash metal kid, which I am, but I also love
Really old classic country.
Authentic, real country, not this bro country crap, but you know, yeah. So
the good stuff is the good stuff.
You know, as I suspected, and much to my delight, when I set it to music, it did turn out to be a country song, and it's so country it's even reflected in the title.
No, don't
and
say it.
The song is called Blake Shelton Can Suck It, and Blake Shelton can suck it, and who else can suck it?
Nobody. The song is not.
What's
called
that guy that opened for me at Riverbend?
No.
What's that guy's name?
I'm not saying.
The song is called Pretty Much Anybody on US 101 Can Suck It.
That is not true. That's not what it's called. Don't even tell you that.
Toby Keith Can Suck It.
No.
What's that one guy's name?
He's very understated and subtle. I don't know if you're catching that from
Just so everybody knows, US 101 is our local
country station.
new country iHeart radio affiliate. So.
And they can suck it.
They don't sponsor us though.
Yeah.
So anyway, this one it's really called Hill Country Girl.
Okay.
And it's about a woman who grew up the road in Saudi Daisy. So.
Oh.
Shelton Can Suck It.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Well,
That was pretty rad.
Come
was
back
fun.
in here now,
Question
huh?
that was in the chat. Did you ask it?
Huh?
Did you ask the question that was in the chat?
No, I did not.
I'll wait till Heather says back down before I ask.
Where were we sitting? Okay. Whew. All right. Well, that was some very.
Sneak back across.
You're good. You're good. That was some very interesting. I hope I have
I liked it.
the volume up high enough to where you can hear us now. All right. So I have to say, I'm a really big fan of not just classic country music, but classic country music.
Oh, yeah. Way
Like we're
back.
talking about the stuff where you can hear like the record popping and stuff.
yeah.
That old stuff. And I have to say that last song really gave me the flavor of like some Carter Family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is an old school
Just
friggin' 3/4 country waltz.
Yep.
That one.
Yeah.
We went back to the roots on that one.
I really like that. Right now, that's my favorite song of y'all's that I've heard so far. So, because that one I was like, yeah. So, yeah, go ahead and give us that question we got in the chat.
How many total songs have you guys wrote? And was the biggest hit the My Black Name?
my stars.
My Black Name's a separate band. That's Mark Porkchop Holder and MPH, and Mark.
Whom we love.
Yeah, Mark is the songwriter in that band. Together,
Us, we've written probably, what, maybe a dozen?
no, more than that. We got damn near a dozen on the album and some more
That's
since
true.
then.
That's true.
Maybe close to 20,
Probably, yeah.
15,
I'd say
20,
closer to 20.
something like that.
So y'all do have like a Resurrection Mary album available.
Well, the story with Resurrection Mary, and here's as short as it can go. We met, became a couple, started playing music together as an acoustic duo. She picked the band name The Scarlet Love Conspiracy. Played like that for
What, a couple years?
no, several months, maybe about a year.
Yeah.
And then she decided she wanted to branch out and make it a full electric rock band.
I was like, man, we got to have some lead and some drums, man. We need
So-
to plug in.
She posted an ad in Chattanooga area musicians on Facebook and said bass and rhythm guitar and vocals, seeking drum and lead guitar. And she got an answer from some people that I had known for years, Kat and Eric Almley, who also lived right up the road.
Right up our road in Saudi.
And killer musicians. Kat's a drummer, and she is just bad by any measure, just badass. And
What? Oh, I think we're still running.
going good.
We're still
Okay,
running.
get up
You just
and
can't
fix
see it. It's okay. So we got together.
well, as I said, Kat's the drummer, and her husband Eric is the lead guitar player. And then we formed that band, and also called it the Scarlet Love Conspiracy. And so, since there was an acoustic version of the band and an electric version of the band, a lot of times there was confusion. Like there would be an event that somebody we know had hosted or something, and one version or the other of the band would have been great for it. And I was like, man,
We're like, why didn't we play that?
why didn't you book us for this acoustic gig? And they would go, well, y'all are electric. Well, we do both. Or then there'd be another one say, man, why didn't you book us for that? I said, well, y'all are acoustic and we wanted electric. I was like, damn it, we do both. So to avoid that kind of confusion, she came up with the name Resurrection Mary.
To kind of delineate our acoustic work from our full-on
Yeah.
electric rock band.
But Kat and Eric are bandmates. Oh, and also my daughter, she's a student at Lee University, and when her schedule allows, she's our keyboard player.
Okay.
Blind, third generation blind. Her mama and her grandma, they all three have retinitis pigmentosa, but she wails on the keys.
Yeah, she does.
And but Kat and Eric have also written. They've been writing songs a long time.
Numerous.
They've got a big backlog of original music, and we play some of that stuff in the band too.
Yeah.
So I mean, between us and them, I don't know how many originals there are.
Oh my gosh,
Dozens.
at least.
Yeah.
So we're probably closer to 50 or 75 total between what
And
we've
that-
written
that
and what they've
may-
written.
that may
That's
not be a
even
stretch.
Yeah, that's not an exaggeration. They've written a lot of stuff. But I mean, we just have a lot of fun. I've got pieces of songs. I've probably written, oh my gosh, upwards of 100. But no, some of them are good and some of them are not so good. Some of them make it to getting music. Some of them get fleshed out. Some of them don't. I just write down everything. Write down everything I think of, and then I kind of piece it together from there. And some people write music first and then lyrics, but I'm exactly the opposite. I have to have lyrics first and then I work out a musical tune to it.
And that actually works out well. One of the areas where we mesh musically is lyrics come real easy to her, music comes pretty easy to me. Like I can write riffs and chord progressions and stuff like that, but lyrics are, I mean, it's like pulling my own teeth without anesthetic. So she's a lyricist, I'm, you know, typically more the music writer, and the two things work together well.
So it works itself out.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Lindsay S is on it. She says, "Hey."
That's me.
Hey. Hey. How's it going?
It doesn't look like you in the picture.
Who updates their email profile picture ever?
Well, we update ours like daily now because it's like part of the cosplay feature. Where
us, the brand, not you.
Yeah, no. Mine's probably still from like a 2009 Talladega picture.
Oh, your Google, yeah, probably so.
Yeah, it is. Me with my all-tail Ryan Newman jacket.
Holding up checkered flags. Woo!
No, it was actually with Jeff Hammond.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I had a picture with him at Talladega. There was a rain delay, and like the race didn't happen till like later on that day, and so we ended up being able to go around and get autographs and stuff from people who normally wouldn't have been out there. And
right.
I got to brave the rain and the cold that Halloween weekend, and got to meet some people. So
the October races can be brutal.
it was rough because they did it like I think the week before Halloween.
You're sitting in the stands.
It was like 3 or 4 years in a row they did what they called Hallowdega.
Oh, wow.
And I actually
That's
won,
special.
KZ 106 up here. I won like a VIP weekend pass, like pair of tickets up there. It was awesome.
All right.
That's rad.
Yep. So, yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say NASCAR then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I used to, religiously watch
Southern.
NASCAR.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I stream NASCAR games like at least every other day, and I have like a handful of our followers who give me a hard time about it. They're like, oh, yeah, pretty much.
Man.
So, anyway, well, I mean, we're nearing kind of the end of the show before we hand it over to them to close us out. So, what else? What we got going on, Lindsay? Anything in particular?
Hold on. So, the new D&D campaign came out, last week. Yeah, the 15th is when you could just like buy it at large, and then the 8th is when you could buy it at the store. And so, of course, I was here right after work on the 8th, getting my precious book, Tomb of Annihilation. Super fun. And on the 15th, Wizards of the Coast released a new playable race that we're all very excited about. It's a turtle. It's a turtle humanoid.
Oh, yeah.
And, okay, so I feel like
Ninja Turtles.
Chris Perkins at Wizards at D&D was pretty much knew exactly what we were going to do with this guy, with this race. So they get extras to strength, and then they reach maturity at age 15. So they'd make really good monks, and they're teenagers. I love that you're getting there. Come on. React with me.
I am there.
How exciting is that? I look forward to all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pun names that people are going to make.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just fun. But so they released that. You can get it either through the DMs Guild, through D&D Beyond, or through Roll20 if you're an online player. Those don't cross, people. Don't make my mistake and go, oh my god, I can buy it now! And buy it on one and then go, oh, but I used the other thing. And then have to rebuy it on the other thing. That's just bad times. But hey, I've got it in duplicate now. It's fun. I got to play 7th Sea this weekend. That was a new RPG that I haven't played tabletop. Sort of table. It's mostly RP, and then every once in a while, some tabletop. In 11 hours, we rolled the dice 5 times. So it's mostly storytelling.
And how long? 11 hours?
11 hours.
God help us all.
And it went fast. It's fun. When you're with your friends and you're playing a game, you can play all day. Just like when you were little. You're so immersed in the adventure that you're having.
time.
Yeah, no, but I love Skyrim, but I don't think I could play more than 3 or 4 hours.
Well, it's because
at a
you're
time.
alone when you're playing it. This is with people. You're feeding off of other people's energy, man. You're like across the table with your friends, and you.
Yeah, but for the most part, I hate people.
Interaction.
But these are the people that you like.
We're talking to Lonnie. He would rather be by himself playing Skyrim.
With tabletop games, computer games have gotten so immersive, and the mechanics are so good that to really make it worth your while to break out the dice and the books and the papers and the pencils and all that, you got to have a good game master. So story really needs to be the attraction, because you can have the best tabletop RPG ever, but if your game master sucks, then the game's going to suck. Yeah. But when you do find a good game master, it's really badass.
Yeah, and ours. He's probably not on there. I told him to be on there. So Tony, hey, you get a shout out, but you're not out there. But he's great. And so I try to like model my DMing after his with his storytelling, and then a little bit of Matt Mercer, who's like the most famous, I guess, DM on the internet. He does videos for Wizards and D&D and stuff. Anyway, so if you guys ever want to play, this new campaign is like super cool. It's like Jumanji, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones squished together, and you get to race dinosaurs and fight a curse, and it's fun.
We're looking at getting a group together here eventually. Maybe.
Before we get too far from it, you mentioned the new D&D race, playable D&D race. Heather loves it when I do this. Like we have... We play acoustic shows out together, and a lot of times they're like 4 and 5 hour shows, so it tends to be a lot of covers. I mean, you're playing for drunks, so you want to play songs that they like, so they sing along and have fun and tip you well.
Right.
By the way, we're playing Saturday
Saturday at the office.
Saturday at the office behind City Cafe downtown. Saturday 10 to 2.
Something like that.
10 to 2. We may start early at 9. But like there's a list of songs that I know. The ones that I've got written down is probably 8 hours long, and there's songs that I don't remember I know until somebody says, hey, do you know song X? Like, oh, as a matter of fact, I do. Yeah. And then there's this other thing where somebody will mention something, and I'll sit there. That's why I was strumming a minute ago. I figured this out, and I know there's copyright things going on, but you got 30 seconds before they get you in trouble.
Oh, yes.
So I literally just figured this out on the spot for you, and a truncated version here. Splinter taught them to be ninja team. Good ninja turtles. Leonardo Lee's Donatello does machines. Ninja turtles. Raphael is cool, the rude. Michelangelo is a party dude. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in a half shell. Turtle power.
God, I bet the women just throw the panties at the stage on that one.
Well, they might, except my 6-foot wife is sitting next to me, and
most of the time, and I'm really not.
I mean, no, it's actually cool,
I mean, it's okay.
We roll like that, but they don't know it, so not so much on the panties. Actually, I thought there would be more debauchery in this rock and roll thing.
There was a butt cheek at Muddy Roots. Oh, no kidding.
I didn't sign the butt cheek, so I had no debauchery.
Doug did. So his drummer got to sign a butt cheek at the Muddy Roots Music Festival they played just a few weeks ago.
So, but yeah, for you, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme.
All right.
Right on.
Thompson wants to know, are you mad that I'm watching your music videos on YouTube instead of your interview right now?
Well, this one's live.
It's okay. You can watch all of the things.
Open another tab.
Yeah.
And then just kind of toggle.
You can watch all the things. It's okay.
Well,
we'll let
I'm
you.
looking at the same time.
So we are coming up on an hour. So I do want to remind everybody that here in just a little less than a week, I think on the 27th, they're going to be releasing Marvel Legacy #1, which is going to be like this big kind of a soft reboot of the Marvel Universe.
Is this their equivalent of the DC New 52?
Actually, DC did something else recently called Rebirth. And
so wait, they rebooted with the New 52, and they've rebooted since then?
Yes. That right there.
Curious? I am. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Huh.
Rebirth. It's basically, that's actually signed and stuff for $20.
Right here at Infinity Flux.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. I knew where that was at. But I've read it. It's really cool. You're familiar with Watchmen?
Yes.
Apparently, they have completely restarted everything, and Superman has a son now, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. And apparently, Dr. Manhattan, the blue dude who runs around naked all the time, he has basically kind of sort of become God in this universe, and he's kind of manipulating things from behind the scenes. And it's all leading up to November. There's going to be a monthly 12-issue series that's going to run for a year called Doomsday Clock, and it's going to lead up to Dr. Manhattan versus Superman. So that's the big event that's kind of going right now.
I just got a nerd boner, man.
Right?
Yeah.
We all got a little tingly just
They've got that.
I might need a moment.
That's DC, and you can get those here at Infinity Flux. But they've got that going on, and then Marvel next week is getting ready to do kind of a soft relaunch where they've just got through Captain America was like a Hydra agent and took over America, and then they fixed everything, and now all the books are going back.
Do you think that was the plan, or do you think that was a fix because it was so poorly received?
Oh, no, it was already planned.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, it was literally 10 issues that went over 3 months. They already had everything lined up. Yeah.
Wow.
It was they already had the out going for that, but
We have a little sad for me comic book news.
what?
So I don't know how many other people were super anticipating this, but the 4 issues of the Tick was supposed to kick off on the 30th. It has been delayed indefinitely.
Oh.
And it's supposed to have its backstory, which you have not gotten before.
Did you at least watch the Amazon?
Sir, yes, I watched.
Is it worth watching?
I enjoyed it. Okay, so here's the thing.
Because that live action one they did back in the late 90s, early 2000s really was not stellar.
It was not.
Okay, so then you guys will probably.
I got you.
Okay,
I got you.
I thought I was in trouble.
I'm going
All
back
right.
and forth.
Okay, so the people who really, really liked that one, which I really, really did, but I like cheese McMuffin stuff. I love that. Very campy, hammy stuff. But if you really like that, you might not like the newer one as much because it's not gritty, but it's grittier, and it's more of the backstory of Arthur and how he gets tangled into this, and it's a little more real in the whole
Cartoon.
well, just in that why Arthur would even be with him and how he struggles with even accepting that this is a thing, even if it's real at some points. But it's
chop off your head.
the first 2 episodes, little choppy, but then it gets really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Right.
But you just can't watch it expecting
Right.
the other one. It's just like when the X-Men movie first came out, you couldn't go watch it expecting the comic books or the animated series. You had to go, okay, this is gonna be a whole new thing, and then it was fine. But if you went in with expecting this, you weren't gonna get
God,
that.
how many times
Total
have I said
ADD
something?
moment. Have you seen Logan?
Yeah.
So good.
I squalled. God, I squalled like a baby at the end of that.
It was sad.
Marvel's movie game has been.
Oh wow. It's just been.
Did you cry at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did. I
did.
actually saw that for the first time. My other band was down in Mexico in August, and I watched that on the return flight from Mexico. And I'm 35,000 feet above the friggin' Gulf of Mexico, just blubbering,
Giving it that number, yeah.
I totally squalled. And then when I got home, I told her, that it was really good, so we watched it rented it on the Roku, and then we're both sitting there, just almost ugly crying. So,
Yeah, it was bad.
yeah.
It was
I'm
bad.
not ashamed to admit when I cried.
Hey, I will admit on Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the end of that got me.
Jake wants to know how much your guitar was.
This guitar,
It's special.
okay, so for any guitar players playing along at home, you can tell this is not your standard size acoustic guitar. The body is bigger and the neck is longer. This guitar actually began life as an acoustic electric bass guitar, a 4-string bass. And there's a guy out in Washington State. His website is Terry's Berries, BARIS.com. And what he does is he scours the pawn shops and music stores and buys secondhand acoustic electric basses and modifies them and makes 6-string baritones out of them. Plugs some of these holes, redrills 5 for the guitars, puts a new bridge and nut, replaces the tuners, puts 2 extra tuners on it. So instead of a standard guitar being tuned E to E, like
my
that,
guitar,
like the guitar she was playing, this one's tuned B to B. So that gives me a lot of leeway, especially when I'm playing with somebody else. She'll capo in one position, or maybe not even capo, but I'll use my capo here to alter the tuning of the guitar or raise it relative to the person I'm playing with. Like when we're doing Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb, which is in B minor, and you know, hello, is there anybody in there? And hear me. You know, I'll go, hello, is there anybody in there? And I get that lower.
Yeah, you can hear that
sound.
that's much, much lower.
So
what
now,
did we get?
as for
did we
what
end
it
up-
costs, the cost varies depending on what it costs him, you know, and then he modifies it. Some of them are sold with cases, some are not. I bought this one 5 years ago.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
5 years or close to it, without a case and shipping and all. It was $500. And it is a remarkably versatile instrument because you got B to B. I'm the only guy in town with the guitar that can properly play Monster Magnet's Space Lord. You know, and then depending on where you capo, that gets you standard a whole step down. So for like drive-by truckers, too much sex, too little Jesus. You know, standard tuning. And then, you know, on up from there, Indigo Girls. You know, on up to like the Decemberists, with whom we love. They capo
the
quite a bit.
Decemberists are amazing.
You know. So it's
super cool.
it's guitar nerdery.
I am
It's
so
so versatile.
fascinated right now.
We actually got to sell 2 of our guitars because we kept 2 extra to keep them tuned in different tunings, so that we wouldn't have to, you know, just
Retune guitars all the
yeah,
time.
and do crazy string acrobatics. This one does so much that we actually got to sell those 2 extra guitars. We don't
Now,
even need them.
this is a different type of nerdism than what you deal with
Yeah,
here, but
this
this
is-
is some hardcore
it's-
guitar nerd stuff.
Well, that's
Yeah.
okay, because what was it, this past
pretty
Friday
nerdy.
night? Was that when we did that? Yeah, we actually interviewed Rumors, the Fleetwood Mac cover.
Oh
band.
yeah, I saw that, man.
So,
That was cool.
That was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed
So yeah, we're kind of like we're expanding our horizons.
We're cool in all of the ways, basically.
Yeah,
is what he's
in,
trying to
in
tell you.
any possible way that you can be a geek or a nerd, I think it's good to be that.
Between us, somewhere, there's an aspect of the cool.
Hell yeah.
Mostly in me, but you know, it's okay.
Hey, I'm doing good with the outfit now. This,
You're rocking it.
Yeah, I love your flair. You know, I love
Yeah.
your
Thank
flair.
you.
I forgot my jacket and my flair. I'm sorry.
You tell them what Joseph said about your hat?
It was my hat.
Yeah, your hat. That's what I said.
Yeah, the hat. Like I went to pick Joseph up from like the after school program last week, and I wasn't wearing this. I was just wearing the hat. And I go in and pick him up, sign him out, and everything. As we're walking out, he's like, "Hey, Michael Jackson."
Oh,
I was like, "Oh."
nice.
Okay, so we're gonna let y'all do one more song. Maybe I don't know. Maybe something kind of.
Oh, you should. Can you do like a little moonwalk while he's doing that? With your
No, I'm not gonna do a moonwalk. But what I am gonna do is like while they're playing, right when they finish and they're kind of doing like their last little instrumental, like I'm gonna have us like slide in front of them and do that.
Power slide.
You know that exaggerated '90s end of the show thing. Yeah, we're Untitled Nerd Network. Be sure to do this and that. And I was, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be
I
kinda
mean, that's
neat.
my life. It's exaggerated anything.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna give y'all the stage and
All right, what do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
I don't have a.
Take over the world.
Yes.
I was gonna say y'all
Every
are,
night, Phoebe.
y'all are kind of sounding like the what was it, the buzzards on the Jungle Book.
So what do you do? What do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do? What are you in for? Let's see.
I think Lonnie wants something dancey. It looks like he wants to dance.
Nope, I do not want to dance.
You do Liar Liar.
He just wants to dance with somebody that loves him.
Not. Definitely not.
Well, whiskey.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So this song was written originally by a friend of mine, Chattanooga musician Kyle McKillop. Probably my favorite local songwriter ever. This guy can really write a song. And I learned it, and he used to play it in another acoustic band I was in years ago. Well, then when we formed the electric version of the Scarlet Love Conspiracy, I messaged him and I said, hey, you mind if we give it a full band treatment? And not only did he not mind, he asked us to write a bridge for it. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah, the song needs a bridge, and I suck at writing bridges. So what started as a cover actually became a co-write.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, which is very cool.
To be able to say we wrote a song with Kyle McKillop is a big deal. He's amazing. We love him.
Fellow Scot. But he and his lovely wife, Robin, two of the most talented musicians in Chattanooga. So this is Well Whiskey, co-written with our friend Kyle McKillop. Drinking well whiskey for the past 2 hours. I hear as you hit the bottom, the only way to go is up. And I am rolling my cigarettes with raw tobacco. For my papers, I've got the Gospel of John, and I hear, boy, this night will bury you alive. I've been drinking well whiskey for the past 5 hours. I've got holes in my pockets where my money burns straight through, and I am scraping the signatures off the barge. I'm finally seeing that most of them are mine. Most of them are mine. They're all mine, and I hear, boy, this night will bury you alive. And I hear, boy, this night will bury you alive. Gonna soak my soul when the sun comes up. Drown the memories of all the things I could have done, should have done, would have done. I wish I'd done, I haven't done, I've never done. I've been drinking well whiskey so long I can't remember. I just watch the room as it spins around the floor, and the only thing I notice is the strangers as they leave. They all lean over and whisper in my ear, boy, you could have been so much more. Boy, this night will bury you alive. And I hear, boy, this night will bury you alive. Here's boy, this night will bury you alive. And I hear, boy, this night will bury you alive.
Awesome. All right, come in here, Lindsey. All right, we're Untitled Network with Resurrection Mary, Heather, and Travis. Going to be our official UNN band. Remember our Loot Crate giveaway? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send us a screenshot, UNNentries@gmail.com, or to our Facebook. And also remember our Walking Dead Michonne Katana letter opener giveaway. Both of those, yeah, y'all
You have the coolest,
Yeah.
most deadly office ever.
She's my hero.
going to coincide with October 22nd, so we're going to draw for that during our 100th episode of Spoiling Dead, the live recap on October 22nd, right after The Walking Dead goes off. Anything else, Lindsay?
Comic Fest.
Comic Fest.
Comic
October,
Fest, yes.
here.
Remember, we're going to have the Halloween Comic Fest here at Infinity Flux from 12 to noon on October 28th. That'll be the Saturday before Halloween.
12
Huh?
to noon?
12 to noon.
12 to 9.
Yeah, there you go.
So it could be 12
So
midnight
it's
to
just a blink of an eye.
Midnight to noon?
That's not going
But
to be
yeah,
the
you
case.
should come in costumes, and there's gonna be free stuff and
Hey.
spooky comic books.
And if everything goes according to plan, I'm going to shave the beard, keep the mustache, and I'm going to come dressed as Farva from
no.
Super Troopers.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You think I can pull that off?
That's
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, oh, I love it.
Now I'll tell you right meow. That's the best idea. I've had.
Yeah. All right, well, we're on Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you live at Infinity Flux.
We should
Everybody-
always sit on the floor. And have guests just behind us.
Everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll be seeing everybody this weekend.